The bell rings before you see the cart. One slow strike, then another. The sound drifts through the narrow street and lingers in the air like smoke. The smell comes next. Rotting food, human waste, damp wood. And beneath it all, something sickly sweet that settles into your throat. A man walks beside the cart with his head down, ringing a handbell.
To warn anyone still outside. He does not look inside.
No one does anymore. The cart moves on, its wheels slick from the streets, disappearing into the dark. You don't die in battle here.
You die behind a closed door, while the city listens from the other side.
But the real danger is not just the sickness. It is what happens when a crowded city realizes it is trapped with it. Look closely. This is London, 1665, the year the Great Plague turns England's capital into a sealed labyrinth of fear and death. Nearly 500,000 people are packed into a medieval city already stretched to its limits.
And once the sickness takes hold, escape becomes a privilege.
Most do not have. Tonight, we are walking through Plague Year London, as if you were there. We will move from its gates to its markets, from its homes to its taverns, watching how ordinary people try to survive, while the city slowly closed around them. By the end of this journey, you will understand why surviving the plague depended less on medicine and more on class, crowding, and timing. The question is simple. Would you survive it? London in the mid-17th century is loud, compressed, and vertical. Houses rise several stories high, leaning toward each other until the upper floors nearly touch. Streets are narrow, uneven, and dark, even at midday. Waste flows wherever gravity allows it to go. Most Londoners are poor. Laborers, apprentices, servants, dock workers. They are paid by the day, sometimes by the task. If they do not work, they do not eat.
There are no savings, no safety nets, no spare rooms.
There is no understanding of bacteria or infection. Disease is blamed on bad air,
Divine punishment or invisible vapors. When sickness appears, the city responds with force.
tradition, and fear. And now, the plague has arrived.
At the city gates, arguments break out daily. Guards shout at travelers.
Waving papers and coins, begging to pass. Some want to flee. Others demand entry, unaware of what waits inside the walls.
Official notices are nailed to wood. listing new orders as fast as they can be written. Travel restrictions tighten. Gatherings are discouraged. Houses are watched. The wealthy are already gone. Merchants with country estates left quietly weeks earlier. Influential physicians vanished without announcement. What remains is a city of people who cannot afford to leave and cannot afford to stop working. Rumors spread faster than the disease. People whisper about swellings in the groin and under the arms, about fevers that bring delirium, about black marks that appear just before death. Soon the bells ring from morning until night. Markets stay open because they must. London cannot survive without food moving through it. But the crowds feel different now. People stay farther apart when they can. Hands hesitate before touching bread or meat. Food hangs uncovered. Flies swarm freely. Ale is watered down. Flour is stretched with fillers. Prices climb sharply as supplies thin and arguments break out over scraps.
Hunger arrives before sickness for many. Malnourished bodies weaken quickly.
And resistance collapses. Entire streets begin losing people in clusters. Rather than individually, the plague does not move evenly through London. It follows poverty. Would you survive on what you could afford here? London has no true sewer system. Chamber pots are emptied into gutters.
Rain spreads waste through every street. The Thames flows slowly past the city.
Thick with refuse, while still being used for washing, drinking, and cooking.
Rats thrive in this environment. Fleas thrive on them.
When rats die, their parasites search for new hosts.
Moving unseen through bedding, clothing, and walls. People believe the air itself is poisoned. They burn herbs. They carry flowers. Some smoke constantly, believing it cleanses the lungs. None of it works. The filth is not accidental. It is structural. The poorest neighborhoods are the dirtiest, and they pay first. Most families live in a single room. Parents, children, and lodgers share the same air and the same bedding. Windows are small. Ventilation is poor.
Privacy does not exist. When someone shows symptoms, officials arrive with boards and paint.
A red cross is marked on the door. The words, "Lord, have mercy upon us," are written beneath it. Guards are posted outside. No one leaves. No one enters. Healthy family members are locked inside with the sick. Food may be delivered.
Often it is not. Guards accept bribes or abandon their posts entirely.
The policy is meant to protect the city. In practice, it traps death inside homes.
And lets it burn through families at once. If the plague enters your house,
Your odds collapse overnight. As deaths rise, work disappears.
Workshops close, ships stop unloading, apprentices are dismissed without pay.
Servants are sent away with nothing. Without income, people crowd together to survive.
Families double up. Strangers share beds. Exposure increases. But hunger leaves no alternative. Gravediggers demand higher wages. Nurses and plague searchers are overwhelmed. Some drink heavily just to keep working. Others steal from the dead. Fear becomes profitable. False cures spread. Desperation sharpens cruelty. Taverns remain open longer than churches.
Alcohol dulls panic. Gambling dens offer distraction. Prostitution does not stop.
It simply moves deeper into alleys and cellars. These spaces are warm, crowded, and unventilated. Cups are shared, bodies press close. Infection spreads quietly. Crime rises as enforcement thins.
Theft becomes routine. Violence escalates quickly. When death feels inevitable, consequences lose meaning. Would you risk these places for warmth, food, or human contact?
Courts still function unevenly. Punishments remain harsh. Public executions continue, drawing crowds that spread disease further. With every gathering, watchmen patrol less frequently.
Fires burn longer before help arrives. Wooden houses stand packed together.
Waiting for a spark. London is no longer just sick. It is starting to come apart. By late summer, the bells no longer mark individual deaths. They ring continuously until the sound becomes part of the background.
Like wind or rain. Some churches stop ringing altogether. The ringers are dead, sick, or gone. Entire streets fall quiet.
Windows stay shuttered. Doors remain marked with red crosses.